Hi everybody, Mature Simmer here. So welcome back to our little Masterplan Tycoon mini-series that I have here on the channel. I'm playing a randomly generated map, which is a new feature that they introduced. So this is a minimalist resource management type sim. Think of it as a supply chain management. Did this all in the first episode, so if you want to kind of catch up, understand how we got here and what we're doing, I encourage you to jump back. We're basically continuing on here. We need to send some more resources to the steel mission. This is not a tutorial. That is not the point. It's a minimalist game. You should be able to learn it just by watching and listening to what I'm sharing here for sure. So the rain just ended. You didn't lose any other sound other than that. It's just the rain cloud just vanished. But part of why I decided to bring this to the channel is they did do an update back at their 1-year anniversary, which was back in March of this year. So about, I don't know, 4 months ago, let's say. So if you're looking at videos that are older than 4 months ago, you will not have seen the ability to generate a random map, nor does it include efficiency and things like that on the buildings. So they've added some dynamics that do actually impact the gameplay, I would say. So we need to get some beer and clothes to the steel mission. So the steel mission is over here. So you can see we have our connections made. Think of these as buildings, connection points where things get transferred. If you want to think of it in real world scenarios, some sort of a road or something like that, where things are going from the warehouse to this location. And, that's probably the simplest way to look at things. So we need to get beer. So beer requires a farm. Oh, well, we have a farm. We need a brewery. Clothes, what do clothes require? We need some sheep. We have all these things in the brick mission. We were doing them in there, but we don't have access to that because all we can bring from the brick mission is brick. Look at that. What would one think? All right, so because this is the master, I am going to go ahead and I am going to add a good amount of sheep. Because we're going to need multiple sheep because it's gonna get going pretty quickly, pretty fast. So we're going to run wool down here. So you'll notice when we talk about efficiency, it's 100%. But when I take this, now it dropped to 96. That's because basically sheep can't live around the road. If you want to think of that just like, out of the lumber camp, we've got the roads coming in. Like you can't plant trees on the road. You can. It would probably make the road very difficult to navigate. So storage interlinks. I'm only going to repeat some of this for the first few episodes. If people are interested and they hop in the middle at some point to just avoid repeating myself over and over again. I'm probably going to stave off some of that, but right now we're going ahead and including some of that. Now I have wool. Now I need a sewing workshop. Things need to be about one grid apart. If you try to put them closer, you'll see that there's a problem. All right, and at this point, we're going to start generating things. And once we are done, we're going to get 2 beer from the 1 grain and water that it's working with. And then it's going to go to storage, and because they're interlinked, it's going to immediately send that over to the steel mission. So we're going to start to see that go up in a moment. There you go. Our 2 beer are now over in that mission. And now we have the clothes that we need. If we take a look, things are in good shape. We're basically looking for reds. Haven't started with tier 2 things yet, but they're unlocked, obviously. That's one of the things I talked about. You don't necessarily need to do everything in one tier for the other tier to become available. The sim kind of opens things up as you need them. Some of them end up being because you need things for maintenance. So again, there's no maintenance. You can also turn off what a given building does. So right now I'm planting and cutting. If I want to stop planting and I just want to cut what I have, because basically then it just stops replenishing the forest. Like I can do that, and then that will speed up the trees for a bit. So here we go. We've got clothes going over, and yeah, they go over in pairs. So in theory, there we go. All right, and then we need to send resource to the master. So we want to send the resource to the master so we can move on. Don't forget to come back here sometime to optimize the chains. Otherwise, you may end up with no steel beams in the future. So right now, the way I have this set, it's not in the kind of the tutorial mode or the guided mode. And so what they're talking about is this out of the steel mission coming out. This is another new piece that just popped up that we will take a look at. So you have research, and when you see that little green dot, that tells you, hey, you've got something available. So we are able to research a charcoal kiln, which allows us to get coal from a tree, and we don't need a coal mine. And then we have a few upgrades as well, but you can see farm and plantation speed, we need, I mean, we will have beer, but we need potato and sugar cane. So definitely something that is helpful, and actually something I may go ahead and, well, I'm wondering if that makes sense, because we need potato and sugar cane from there. I'm going to put these kind of close to my storage, because then I can take advantage of that. But then what that will do is it'll move the roadways quicker. So if you look at it, its resource transfer rate, that will speed up. And so that's certainly a good thing to do. And so now we'll have that. We'll have a head start on things. Beer, bread, and clothes are our maintenance. That was my biggest concern, is am I going to be building something that I can't maintain? So, but you can see now potato and sugar cane will fill in. You know, beer's also going to fill in over time. But let us now go over to the steel mission. So you can either click on the links down here, which we don't have anymore. You can go here and go to mission. So, you know, if I was over at the steel mission, I could go here and go to mission, or you can click on the compass. So we'll go here and we'll go to the mission. Haven't looked at the steel mission map. Let's see. A butterfly? A Rorschach test of some sort? I don't know. So for resources, we've kind of been talking about what we see. Again, trees, not really important because the lumber camps build them. Rock for the quarry, so we don't have to send stone in here. And we now have coal, which is what the black item is. And if you know anything about making steel, coal is important. Plus we can export the coal, get it back to the master. So that's what it's talking about. So because we don't have the guided piece, it's not going to walk through and tell us in detail what we need to do here. But as I talked about toward the end of the last episode, a lot of rinse and repeat in how this this works out here. So I don't necessarily need any of these items right now. So I am going to get my means of building going as quickly as I can. So what I am going to do first is we're going to go ahead and build ourselves, again, a lumber camp. And then we're going to build, let's see, some storage right outside the lumber camp. And initially we're going to put the sawmill in line because I need to generate some planks so that I can build the quarry, because I don't know that I have enough. Yeah, I don't specifically have enough yet. Oh wait, that is not stone. This is stone. So we'll put that there, and you can see now I have no planks. So I can't build any storage or anything, but we need to get that going. And so that is the process we've got, is just We have to always, on each new mission or map, some of the things aren't called mission in the future. You'll start to see that. All right, so now what I can do, I can put this here, and then I'm going to go ahead and get some more quarries in here. And then that should be plenty. But what that will do is ensure a good supply of stone. And then, again, we can see that we've got things here. All right, so now let me take a peek and see. All right, so the other thing I want to do, I'll probably place over here. Go ahead and we'll get a storage building set there. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is drop that. Well, not yet. So yeah, we'll let that go for a bit. I need to get my fish and my water going. I'm not sure that that's going to work entirely, but we'll see. I'm going to put a well there. I'm going to put another well there. And then we'll put a fishery over there, and I think I should be okay. There we go. Cool. So now we've got fish and water, which are crucial for maintenance. And then once we get enough planks here, we will build another, well, I'm going to need a couple storage, because what I was trying to figure out is where do I want to throw my production. And I think we'll set up a production column over in this space. Again, we need more planks, and so you can see 4 and 4 is what we need. Okay, so that'll get us there, and that will do production. And so what that allows me to do now is I can move this over here, and then we'll have our production chain, and then we can just have trees going there. But then I can, once we get 2 planks, I'll be able to add some more lumber camps, and we'll be able to get trees faster. So I'm going to do 3. That just kind of gets us moving along. I'm not sure if I put the one on top. The water feature may actually slow me down a bit. Yeah, it probably does. So I'll go down here, and then we'll just change that perspective. And now, let's see, let's just kind of line that up, and then maybe that'll minimize things. Let's see, is that about the best I can do? Probably. All right, because if I go up here, 82, 84, yeah. Because basically, if you think of the roads, as I talked about, the least cut through the forest is what's going to give us the best bet. So if I look, I've got fish, I've got water, I've got wood, I've got stone. I've got all my bases, and now I am going to need all these other pieces. So you're always kind of building up those chains in the background, because I want to do bread on my own. I don't want to have to you know, keep providing it other ways. All right, so we're going to get a couple farms going. I'm going to put a storage up here so it's close. That's also then going to give us coverage for the maintenance. So that's what the circle around the storage is. So buildings need to be within that so that they can get, say, their fish and water for maintenance in this case. So this gets us grain, which is needed for beer and for the bakery. And then we need a mill. So I am going to Do I want to place it that far? We won't. We'll keep it close. We'll get the bakery there. The nice thing is, like, we're stocking up some grain already. And that way when we do this, like, it's just going to throw a bunch of grain into the mill. And then once we have some meal, we know we have water. So we're going to see a lot of water come out right away down the path. And again, it'll fill up to 6 water. Obviously it has the meal, so it's going to run. And now we're producing some bread. Then we're going to need a brewery to produce some beer, because we need that, both for the enjoyment of our citizens who enjoy that, and to be able to do maintenance on certain buildings. So we need grain, we need water, and that makes beer. So instead of meal and water, making bread, just plain grain and water is what we need for beer. And already we're kind of at the point like, well, maybe that's our entire production chain. But the other thing I can do, I can maybe set one up here, because we really can't run things on this side of the water anyway, because we can't then get things run out. But we need clothes next. So we're going to do a sheep farm. And maybe we'll do a second sheep farm. Yeah, we'll do it there. Why not? That'll cut into the farm a little bit. And also probably the sheep farm too, if I'm being honest. But alright, let's see. If I do that, we're good. And then that. Alright, let's move it over a bit. And then, oh, this is still 100, so this actually will turn out nice. Sheep need also fish and water, so we're going to take a look once again in our tier 1. So fish is going down, so again, this is how we kind of stay on top of things. And you will notice in the various missions too that production speeds will slow down as you get into deeper and deeper missions for the same material. So you'll notice, you know, it takes longer to fish, for example. Alright, and so sometimes it also takes a little bit for things to respond. So planks and stones are going up because we've not built much, so that's always a bit misleading to some degree. But now we can start doing these other pieces, and steel beams are going to give us a coal mine. This light bulb tells me that there's potentially some research. Speaking of, let's take a quick peek here. So bread and beer, but my guess is if I go back to master, I might have enough. So there we go. So we're going to do the transfer speed first, and you know, you can't do these together, so, and each of them take 2 minutes or 3 minutes usually, but we'll get that research done. I'm going to go back to the steel mission. I'll go in the other way that I can move around. Alright, so the challenge here is I can kind of get to this coal, but not easily. So what I'm going to do is I am going to put a coal mine over here, and we're going to get storage there. And then the real question will be, can I get to the storage? I suppose if I do that, I'm not really encroaching on anything. Alright, so this needs sausages, moonshine, and overalls. So I need to do that first. And so you will find that things kind of go in sequence. So now we'll put in a pig farm. And so the pig farm is different than, say, a sheep farm, where it doesn't have pigs around it. The pig farm in essence, just kind of grows them in the building. And then we need brick. So we haven't done the brick piece. So let's see, do I have clay on this map? I do not. All right, so now I know I will need brick coming in here. So bread, beer, and clothes, I really don't. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the master now, even though it did that. And I am going to break these links, disconnect these roads, basically. Why is it not? Usually it's easier to pick them. So all I really need is brick. We'll make it as quick of a link as we can. Probably go ahead and do that so that when we are starting to produce things, we can just immediately take advantage of things here. I'm not sure. It's going to be interesting to see if we can finish the steel mission in the half an hour or whatever that I'd like to keep the episodes toward. If we're getting close, we probably will move forward. But now let me go back here. All right, so I need the butchery. And then we're going to need the moonshine factory here. But now we also need potato and sugar cane. So this is as good a place as any for some of these. So we'll go ahead. The overlap might not be great, but it'll work, I think. Depends how much of a hurry we're in. Alright, what are we missing? Clothes, which... wait, are we making clothes? No, we're not. So that's a gap too. So I need to get the sewing workshop built. Because otherwise we can't start those chains. And so that is something we didn't see in the first episode, is when the maintenance and you don't have supplies, you'll get this gear, which basically is telling you I'm not functioning because I need maintenance. I've got some work I need to do. So one wool is going to get us 2 clothes, but you can see it's very quickly filling that up. Once the road's empty, the next shipment comes down. And so now this is red because we're full. And now you can see the clothes went in here just as they did there, but we're waiting for the clothes there. Now when clothes came over, see, now sugarcane is producing. Alright, so we've got some pigs. We should be able to create some sausages. And then we can go ahead and connect up the moonshine factory as we've started to get some of the things in, but you can see we need 3 clothes. So moonshine factory requires quite a bit. And so what you now are starting to have to think about is, do I need more of the same facility? So do I need another sewing factory, or do I need another brewery or whatever? We'll see if we can get by without it. We may not be able to. Let's see if I can connect this up here. I can't yet. So yeah, the challenge might honestly be is basically if I can put that there. So let me see. See, but now I have to go further back. I don't know that I'm going to be able to make it work. That's unfortunate. Well, what I can perhaps do is that. And then we might want to go back where we were. And let's see how that works. What is it hitting? It might be too close to the rock. Interesting. Well, I can go down here. I can move that away and then go down there, and that'll work. But again, I need overalls, so I don't have those. So that goes back here, and you can now see cotton. That's a new one. So you're always looking for what is needed next. And so you can see we're starting to, you know, kind of flesh out the map a little bit here. So we're going to get the cotton plantation, and then we need a cotton mill, which I can put there. And then we need a felt workshop, which I can put... let's see if I can do that. I'm worried I can't get my path out there. And then I'm ultimately going to need the fur factory. Alright, so cotton. So again, we can move it out. Alright. And so we're going to be able to get wool in here. We know that. Oh, we can get in, so that's good. And then we're going to get some cotton up here. So cotton, calico coming out. We need clothes. So again, a real big question of do we need more of another sewing workshop? It's possible. All right, that'll get us overalls. So we'll see. We're going to get 3 sets of overalls out once this runs. It needed some clothes. So again, I would say we do want another sewing workshop. I think it's showing us that. We may also find we need more than one sheep farm. So let's take a look at things. A lot of red going on. Where are the sheep? I'm not seeing them. I see pig. Interesting. Why am I not seeing sheep? I mean, we've got a good amount of wool. Maybe it's because I'm not running sheep into the production, but there we go. Do I not have a sheep farm? I must. No, I do. And I am... Oh, okay. Sheep don't go in, wool goes in. Alright. I was a little lost there. I'm like, I don't understand what's happening. But this should then hopefully keep things running a little quicker, because we're going to have clothes coming out of 2 sewing workshops. And so when it has that reference, don't forget to come back and optimize. That's partially also what it's talking about. But keep in mind, right now the only impact I should have on master is brick. And so ultimately that really is on the brick mission. You know, but right now I've got 75 bricks. Like I've maxed that out. Everything else is happening here. So yeah, we just need a lot of clothes. So the overalls are running. That should probably mean our coal mine is running. It is. All right. And so what I can do very quickly now is I can get the coal completed. I'm thinking we might be able to do it. If you're willing to bear with me a little bit longer, we might be able to get the steel mission done. We'll get this all connected so that it goes. Now, I'm not sure why it's... Is it really running that slowly? I suppose it could be. Because, yeah, it's just 1 for 1. And I know that it did kind of just start up. But basically, you'll see now we're already up to 4. We're going to move that along. And it's always good to just kind of double check because you kind of need things in order. But there we go. So now we need an iron mine. So that is here. We're going to put a couple of those up. I'm going to put that one there. Is that one at 100%? I don't remember. So again, we're going to get things out pretty fast. Okay, we can get that closer. It'll be more productive or faster, because otherwise the efficiency there, like if I was here where it was 60%, So you can see it adds 48 seconds. So it's a minute and 48, where if I go here, it's just a minute. So you want to take that into account. And again, that's one of those new features that has only been in place for the last 4 months or so. So if you've been a player of this before, it might be worth revisiting. Definitely creates some new dynamics. So I'm just trying to figure out, maybe I could do it there or there, but there's more room here. So I'm going to go ahead and build my steel out here. So we've got a furnace and then a steelworks, and those are the two things we're going to need. And so again, we've got all the coal we need right now. But you know, so at this point I'm going to disconnect the coal connection. Yeah, this is like the danger of making things a little too close, because I don't want to send more coal away. I want it to be here for my use. And so if I go here, you can see we've got iron. We're just starting to get some coal. And so we need iron and coal to make steel, and then we need steel to make steel beams. So this again is where the joint storage, it's kind of interesting, because I'm going to this warehouse, but then it just cycles back around. So even though these are kind of feeding from what looks like this building and this building, that's where there's a little bit of it's not suspension of disbelief. That's the wrong statement, because that's not really what's happening. But you know, so now we filled up an iron. We've sent 10 irons over. We just are creating coal as we go. And again, some of the steel is getting siphoned off and getting sent. So that's the other piece. Like once we get where we need to, you know, then we can stop and then guide it all to steel beams. Because it is interesting why the steel beams aren't going over. Okay, there we go. We finally got two. Yeah, I'm not quite sure why it was doing it that way. And once again, we need sausages, moonshine, and overalls, but we need 2 of each. And then I think at this point, I think this will finish the steel mission. And then this is a way for us to get steel beams right now, because again, we don't have some of that material over there. And so right now we can turn steel off just to move this along, but we will want I think coal and steel back later, because otherwise we can't do things on the master. But that's partially why we're feeding things out. So again, it sends them one at a time when it's transferring them. And so now this is going to get us steel beams 9 and 10, because it produces 2 sets of them. And so we're going to get those over, and let's see what it then tells us. So there we go. So now we're set. So now I'm going to reinstate these, because now it can kind of run in the background. So again, the steel mission will continue to do its thing, but you're going to want to check, like, see, moonshine in theory is going down, iron is as well. But what will happen eventually over time is, like, this will fill up, because like this queue will eventually stop sending things away once we fill the warehouses on master. So I can click here and go on master, and similar to where we just stopped sending bread, beer, and clothes because we're making them in the steel mission, you make those same type of decisions here. Same thing, like I don't have a stone quarry, so I'm going to keep sending stone, But you can see this is maxed out because at this point I no longer need that. Let me clean this up though. If I go to the mission here and then connect the bread, it may, well, we may be full on bread. That's the issue. Yeah, we are. So as it makes other things, it might need some more bread. But you can see, like right now, there isn't a lot happening because all the queues are backed up. So this result is what we're going to see on the steel mission eventually, is the same thing where things just back up because we don't need them anymore. So right now, you know, we're grabbing enough bricks, but there aren't any bricks here because all the bricks are getting transferred to master. If I go back here to master, and you can see I've got 11 bricks, but some of that has to do with you know, how things are running. And the question would be now, honestly, let me figure out why we aren't making bricks. We're not making clay. Oh no, we are, but yeah, interesting. So, you know, and what I might want to do is, you know, throw in another clay pit, because we need 2 clay to be able to generate 2 bricks. So it won't do that until we have 2. And so each, you know, it basically has to wait 2 full cycles to do that. But this is then, again, how you keep optimizing your chains to get the best results you can get. I thought maybe that my clay pit was done running, but that doesn't appear to be the situation. All right, so plantation speed, storage, let's see. All right, so we can do the charcoal kiln, so we're going to research that because that's going to be necessary. And you can see we can increase our storage capacity on the master now with enough steel beams. So the benefit is now if you go back to master and look at those same things, like I have all the material for this, so we're going to go ahead and do that upgrade as well. It's going to take another couple minutes, but you know, we have brick moving over here. So we need grain, wool, potato, and sugarcane, and those are maxed out at the 75. And once I get enough steel beams, so now I have enough bricks, so it might be by the time we're done with the farm and plantation speed that we're going to be able to go ahead and upgrade the storage capacity, because we might have enough steel beams by then. So let's see where we are. Charcoal kiln is done. And so now this is going to increase the production speed of all farms and plantations. So things like the sheep farm are going to increase by 10%. So instead of taking a base of 45 seconds plus the 3, we should basically lose about 5 seconds and get down from 51 seconds to about 46 seconds is what I would expect to see. We're getting close. It's certainly worth doing, so we're going to go ahead and do that, but let's take a peek. So now you can see we went to 43, so we went down to 40 from 45, and then obviously then the penalty also shrinks because everything's faster. But the nice thing would be, so none of these, you can see the potato farm is speeding up. So now we're gaining 17 seconds, and you know, and it could be more because our efficiency is less than 100. Where on the sugar plantation it is, but you can see, you know, 20 seconds while we're getting rained on. It's definitely moving along there. Do we have? Not quite yet. So, and sometimes you'll find that you miss a piece of the supply chain and suddenly realize, well, it's not giving me any more steel beams did something happen? And it could be because it's sending steel over, because once again, you know, we are increasing steel as well. So that may be part of what's happening, but let's go take a look, because my guess is no, Steelworks is still okay. But because I want the steel beams, again, this may be worth cutting off the steel, and then all the steel will stay here, and now you can see we're creating steel beams, and we basically need 2 sets of production, which even if we didn't have enough maintenance, we're going to have space for to do that, and then you know, those will transfer, and there we go. So you need 3 steel to make 2 steel beams. So that, you know, that's the other piece is, you know, if I'm sending them until I fill up the 75, you know, it's going to take a bit of time. So now I can go ahead and do that. And now if I go back to the, because if I look at this here now, I don't have steel beams because they're all sent. So sometimes you can get messed up. That was definitely, again, a tip to look at. You know, check your research in all your places, because you may have the material in one land, if you want to call it that, one mission, you know, or at the master or whatever. And, you know, we've got lots of room, so this is good. But, you know, we've also got missions and things that are not open yet. So you can see we've got a limestone mission, a copper mission, you know, other things will be going on. And you can see we're going to start building windows next time we're in here. But I'm just waiting for the research to be done, and there we go. We are done. We are at 125. So I am going to go ahead and wrap up the episode here. There's really no harm in letting the thing run if you've got everything going. It's fine. Like, it will stop when everything's maxed out. So there's really not a reason to stop, because that's the thing. This won't run like when I'm not on. So it's not like I'll come back and suddenly have steel beams full everywhere. I'd need to leave this running in the interim. So some of the game sometimes is just like supply chains in the real world. You're just waiting for production to complete. But hopefully you're enjoying this. Once again, probably not something, because it works very much the same way. So even though I can generate another map, I don't think there's a whole lot of compelling viewing to go through this more than once. So that's why I'm just doing it as a mini series, as opposed to, hey, this could be something I'm doing regularly. You know, if I do play it regularly in the background, it'll probably be offline, but I want to do at least share with folks like how you work through this and how this goes, and you can keep following along as I make further progress, and you know, likely drive this random map all the way to completion. But again, that took about 20 hours, and it should be faster now, because the 20 hours also was me not understanding how to do things, and there were absolutely times where I'm like, why am I not making any progress? Why is it not building this item? And I figured out I had to go shore up supply chains in 4 or 5 different locations, but it took me a while to figure it out. So I could see shaving it down to, say, 15 hours, but, you know, at half an hour, 40 minutes per episode, you know, it could still be 20, 25, 30 episodes. We'll see. But if you're interested, certainly come back. But if you have enjoyed this and haven't dropped a like, please consider that. I greatly appreciate it. It helps with things to get recommended across YouTube and helps the channel grow. Helping the channel grow means there's more of us to chat, more of us to comment with each other and talk about things. And then if you're not a subscriber, please consider that, and I will see you next time.